What is the sensitive period for movement? Sensitive periods are critical to a child's development and they inform many Montessori practices. Understanding sensitive periods can support our parenting, caregiving, and educating in many positive ways. Sensitive periods are a time when a child has a heightened ability to develop a skill or to acquire knowledge quickly and with ease. They can be thought of as explosions in a child's development that will serve as the foundation for characteristics that they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives. Others might consider them a type of compulsion, where a child becomes obsessed with acquiring a specific skill or gaining that new knowledge. For instance, when a child becomes interested in learning to pull themselves upright and continues to attempt to do so over and over and over again, so much so that they skip their naps in order to continue to practice this new skill. Sensitive periods can help us as adults to understand a child's interests and to follow the child as we introduce activities that align with their interests and further promote their brain development through the creation of a carefully prepared environment. Each of these sensitive periods provide us with a unique opportunity to greatly influence a child's growth and development. Some sensitive periods are so noticeable that even those unfamiliar with the Montessori method would be able to recognize them. For instance, the Montessori sensitive period for movement in the form of walking occurs between 12 to 15 months and is easily noticeable. Recognizing other sensitive periods in a child's development might be easier than you think as well. Have you ever wondered why a child wants to repeat the same song or hear the same story what seems like a million times? It might seem unnecessary to us as the adult, but these are classic symptoms of sensitivity. The repetition is never tiring for the child, and they seem to find great joy or peace in what they're doing. They have a high tolerance for failure within this repetition, exerting meaningful effort. You might also notice that sensitive periods happen when a restful or tranquil state develops after the culmination of an activity where intense concentration and repetition existed. Other characteristics that sensitive periods are occurring include mimicking and compulsive or obsessive behaviors. Interrupting a child while they're in the middle of an intense sensitive period can also result in a powerful emotional response, like a tantrum. Break a routine that a child is attempting to understand and master, like getting dressed, bath, or bedtime, and some children will emotionally fall apart. The terrible twos, for example, are often just an exaggerated reaction to small disruptions in order that we might not even perceive as adults. This is because the child is likely in their sensitive period for order and for learning, and their work is being interrupted. Being attuned to these moments of strong emotional response can also help us as adults to clue in and identify a child's sensibilities. Sensitive periods manifest themselves in two distinct ways, positive and negative. Signs that a positive manifestation is occurring include intense focus, joy, and tremendous activity. These are signs that a child's needs are being met by the environment and that they're able to explore their interests. In a negative manifestation, however, the child's environment is not providing them with what they need to develop a certain sensitive period. This can often be frustrating for a young child and leads to big feelings. There is no set timeline of when sensitive periods occur within the plane of development that they exist or how long they might last. The timing is unique to each and every child. The end of a sensitive period should be recognizable, though, as the child will become disinterested in an activity or material and will grow tired of engaging in a task which they previously enjoyed. Sensitive periods are transitive states. Once the aim of a particular sensibility is accomplished, the period disappears. Sensitive periods are never relived or regained, and they do not occur in a specific order. In fact, a child may experience multiple sensibilities at one time. It's important to mention that if a sensitive period is missed, it does not mean that the child will not master that skill or gain that knowledge. It simply means that it may involve less joy and require more time or effort on the child's part to reach mastery, similar to that which is required of an adult attempting to learn a second language. Dr. Maria Montessori stated that when the sensitive period has disappeared, Intellectual victories are reported through reasoning processes, voluntary efforts, and the toil of research. And from the torpor of indifference is born the weariness of labor. The sensitive period for movement occurs from birth to around age 4.5 to 5. Children grow physically and mentally so much during this short period of time. Even from the very first few moments of life, babies flail their arms and tense and relax their muscles. It doesn't stop there, though. Take some time to observe a toddler. Sit still and watch how many steps the child takes, how they pick things up and move them from one place to another and put them back down, carrying items from one side of the room to the other. It's not a lack of attention that causes this constant movement, it's their sensibility. This sensitive period not only includes gross motor skills like crawling, walking, and climbing, but also applies to the child's refinement of their fine motor skills. During this time, random movements become coordinated and controlled. From 2.5 to 5 years of age, children experience sensitivities to refining and coordinating their movement. For example, being able to hold small items with a pincer grip and release them voluntarily. This prepares them for writing and for using eating utensils. Walking turns into running, balancing, and jumping. To encourage and promote this sensitive period for movement, as adults, we can do a few things. First, prepare the child's environment to provide opportunities for movement, such as by placing items of interest just outside the child's reach to encourage them to roll over or to crawl. It can also be helpful to have low, sturdy furniture for the child to practice pulling themselves up on. We can provide puzzles, practical life exercises like pouring or tonging, and introduce eating utensils to all help encourage the development of a child's fine motor skills and their pincer grasp. We can also involve children in everyday tasks, allowing them to practice self-care skills like dressing, brushing their hair, and brushing their teeth. We can give them as much freedom to move as we can by placing them on the floor instead of in things like a baby swing and by skipping swaddling. We can provide opportunities for maximum effort as it's an essential part of the sensitive period for the coordination of movement. And for those who might be unfamiliar, maximum effort is a young child's need to exert their strength doing hard and heavy work. Common examples include carrying heavy objects, throwing, pushing heavy boxes or laundry baskets, emptying the washing machine or the dryer, and so on. Maria Montessori reminds us the sensitive period. It comes for a moment, but its benefits last for a lifetime. For those of us practicing Montessori, sensitive periods can not only help us, but can help set the children up for success. It makes our lives easier, in fact, by helping children remain engaged and joyful in their activity. Since most babies and toddlers are unable to communicate their needs and desires and innate interests during these first 3 years of life, it's our job as adults to educate ourselves and to help support them. By knowing about sensitive periods, we can begin to create a Montessori prepared environment tailored to each child's individual needs and interests, helping them refine their skills and develop knowledge during this crucial period in their lives. We'd love for you to share with us in the comments an example of the sensitive period for movement that you've observed and how you've prepared the environment and followed a child with this interest. And remember, we have many other great videos, so make sure you've subscribed to our channel and are following along on all of our social media platforms. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day.